So as I was saying, they both enter the Bullet of Bullets, knowing now that Kirito is a boy, not a girl. They've sort of gained a rivalry between each other, and they don't really want to talk to each other. So when they go into the Bullet of Bullets, Sinon says basically, if I see you, make sure that you stay alive until the end, because I want to kill you myself. So they both go in, and they both are put into different locations. And Sinon is looking down from a sniping point into a crowd of, well, not a crowd, but like two people facing off against each other. And her plan is that when one of them kills the other one, she's going to kill the one that killed that one. Which is what you would do in that situation if you was playing a game like that. Now, before I carry on, I had to cut there because it was going over the time that I'm allowed to upload for, which is slightly annoying, but meh. So, yes, that is why I had to cut there. Now, I'm going to miss a few details out about this arc that I really don't want to, but I kind of have to because it's really spoilery, and I really think that you should go and see it because it is an amazing story. I know a lot of people don't like the second series. I do. I really like the second series. Anyway, carrying on. So just before she shoots the guy, Kirito comes up behind her and stops her. And then them two watch as Deathgun comes out from one of the corners, takes out a Type 54 Black Star, which is the same gun that Sinon is terrified of. And he says to the camera something like, "This is the day of reckoning," and all this stuff. Because it is being like watched by other people. It's like a TV event tournament thing. So it is like an actual recorded thing. That the other characters from Alfheim Online, like Asuna, Silica, Sinon, Lisbeth, all those characters who are Kirito's friend are watching him do it from Alfheim Online on a TV there. Which, now that I think about it, why is there a TV in Alfheim Online? Because it's all about magic. Anyway, I'm going too deep into this. So they're watching it there. And Deathgun announces all this stuff like, "Oh, this is the day of reckoning. I am Deathgun." And then he proceeds to shoot the character, the player that he's paralysed, who was the same one that Sinon was going to kill after he killed the other guy that I just mentioned a minute ago. He shoots him with the Type 54 Black Star, and that character gets disconnected from Gun Gale Online. So yes, he now has been killed. It skips forwards quite a bit in the Bullet of Bullets. Kirito saves Sinon from getting shot by the Type 54 Black Star by Deathgun, and they escape on a buggy, on a dune buggy thing together, whilst Deathgun is chasing them with a horse. And at that point, Sinon can no longer shoot her Haki T2, which is her sniper. She can't shoot anymore because she's seen that gun in this game, and she's had it pointed right at her head, like she did when the place was getting robbed. She can no longer control herself without being traumatized again. So I can see from the screen that I'm running out of time again, so I'm going to have to be really quick. Basically, they go to the desert and they have a plan to make it so Sinon distracts Deathgun and Kirito goes up against Deathgun. When he goes up against Deathgun, he finds out that he was in a briefing before the attack on the Laughing Coffin base, which is the player killer guild in Sword Art Online, and he remembers that one of the characters was called Red-Eyed Salazar. I think that's what it's called anyway. And obviously Deathgun has like a metal skull mask with red eyes, and that's how he remembers his name. And in Gun Gale Online, his name is Seben or something like that, which means to die in a hospital, I think, if I'm not wrong. Anyway, they find out who it is, and they get out of it, and they win the tournament together, so it's like a joint win. Right, 1 second, I need to do something. Right, sorry about that, because I ran out of time I had to add in another clip, which is slightly unprofessional, but I really do need to finish off this arc, because this is one of my favourite arcs. Oh, by the way, this is the Phantom Bullet arc, I forgot to mention that at the start. But yeah, this is the Phantom Bullet arc. And so yeah, they find out who it is, and they go back to the real world, where before they do all the plan to stop Death Gun. The thing that scares, the gun that scares Sinon, scares her so much because that's the gun that indicates if he's gonna shoot someone with that gun, it indicates that they will die in real life. So it's like that bullet kills people in real life. So that's why she's so scared, because she knows that if she gets shot by that, she will die in real life. So they get out, and Sinon like checks her apartment for any break-ins. Her friend comes to the house. Her friend comes to her house, and he has been wanting to go out with her for a while. And she said to him, sort of, once she's got over it, she will then think about being in a relationship. And he's basically trying to force it upon her to be boyfriend and girlfriend, even though she's not ready yet, because obviously she's going through her own personal things. So he comes round and sort of says, "Congratulations on winning the tournament. I brought you some pastries." That's genuinely what he says. He then asks her again, and she basically blanks him. He then gets a bit angry and decides, no, fuck it, I've waited way too long for this, and proceeds to try to... I wouldn't say he tries to rape her, but he kinda does. So he tries to rape her again. And yeah. Kirito comes in, stops the rape from happening, and then Kirito gets stabbed with the lethal injection that slows down the heart to a stop, which is what Death Gun was using to kill people in real life, because it turns out that Death Gun was actually two people. One person who was in-game killing someone, the actual Death Gun, and then outside the game, which was the guy who, as soon as he knows that they got shot inside the game, he would lethal injection the person outside the game that would kill them. So that's how they did it. And it turns out that that guy who Sinon blanked was the other guy that was... Like, see, normally he was the one that would be Death Gun in the game, and his brother would be the one that gives people lethal injection. But for this last time, his brother was the person doing Death Gun, and he wanted to do the lethal injection because he knew that he would go around to Sinon's house. And as quoted, he couldn't stand anyone else touching her except for him. Because that's how fucking batshit crazy he was. He wouldn't let his brother touch her with the lethal injection. So, yeah. Kirito gets stabbed with the lethal injection. But, as a coincidence, he had one of the heart monitor things that he had in his hospital. Because he went to the hospital to play Gun Gale Online so that they could like monitor him in game so that he wouldn't die, because obviously that's how they were doing the Death Gun thing. That's how it's like an experiment. So he was in the hospital being all his stats checked while he was in game to see if anything was abnormal. But one of the tag things that used to monitor his heart was still in there, and just as a coincidence he stabbed the lethal injection there, so it didn't actually go into him. So yeah, that's pretty much... Oh, and then Kirito takes Sinon to meet Asuna and Lisbeth in the real world, where he has another surprise for her, because all the way through the arc she was terrified that she actually killed someone and that she was an outcast and she was evil for killing someone. But Kirito says, you're probably going to hate me for this, but I actually found someone who was in the post office when it was going to get robbed. And she was saying like, oh, why the hell did you do that, you asshole, I hate you, meh. And then the person from the post office comes out with a daughter and says that if Sinon wouldn't have shot that guy, the guy who was robbing the post office would have killed her and killed her unborn child. Oh, and it was so adorable because the child gives Sinon a poster and says, "Thank you for saving my life." Like, I put a picture of her mum and dad, and say thank you. Oh, it was... Oh. It had the feels. Anyway, I need to move on to the next one now because I've spent too long on this one, on this arc. Luckily for me, though, the next arc is pretty quick. So, I didn't score the fairy dance one either. So for the fairy dance arc, I'd give a 6. Because it was good, but it took a long time. It took a lot longer to build up and everything. So I'd give it a 6, maybe a 5, 6 or 5. For this arc, I'd give a strong 9. I really like this arc. It is probably my favorite arc. I wouldn't think I'd like it as much when I first started watching it, but no, I really do like this arc. It gave me the feels. Not as much as the last one, though. I'll get to that one later, though. So yes, moving on to I think it's the 4th arc, which is the Caliber arc. And the Caliber arc. Right, now this one isn't a very long one, and in my opinion it's probably the weakest arc. Now, in this arc it spends a lot more time inside Alfheim Online, because they go back to Alfheim Online for this arc. And it spends a lot of time inside the plot is basically Kirito has found a way to get the best sword in the game called the Holy Sword Excalibur, but to do so he needs the help of his team, which is it's not even all of his team because some of them don't go with him. It's Leafa, Klein, Arsena, Silica, Lisbeth, and little Yui. Yui's just a navigation pixie in this one though, and well, it still is not. Anyway, I'm rambling. Trying to get through this one a lot quicker. So they go try to find the Holy Sword Excalibur. They get into this quest that's like a new type of quest. It's like this quest could end the entirety of Alfheim Online, which that's sort of the big thing in this arc, even though they don't really follow it very well. It's like, this quest, if we don't finish it in a certain amount of time, it could mean the end of Alfheim Online forever, and the game will delete itself if we don't do this mission. And then it's sort of I don't really recommend this one, but if you want to watch the entire series, then do watch it. But it's very I mean, at the end of it, Sinon, because Kirito for some reason throws away the Holy Sword Excalibur, and Sinon shoots an arrow down, catches it, and drags the sword back up to where they are. For no reason. I don't know why he throws it away, and then gets it back. It's really stupid. It's like he throws it, Sinon shoots an arrow down, catches it, and then brings it back up, and then she gives it to Kirito and says, "Promise, I'll give it to you, but as long as every time you draw it, you will think of me." And it's like, okay then, why? Now. So yeah, for this arc, I'm going to score it now because there's really nothing to this one. So for this arc, I'm going to give it a 4. I would give it lower, but I mean, it's still a okay arc, but I wouldn't give it any higher than a 4. It's not nowhere near the best. It's probably no, definitely a 4. So yeah, I'll give the Caliber arc a 4. And finally, the 5th arc, which is the Mother's Rosario arc. Now, this one really is the Feels series. So basically, the plot of this one is, I'm going to go through this run really quickly because, again, I don't want to spoil this one because it's really good, and I don't have much time left. So Arsena's having trouble with her parents at home because her mother doesn't like her playing all these games and being late for dinner, which is a weird thing. And just as this is happening, she's got her exams, but her mother wants her to move to a better school because she thinks that the school that they're at now, which is a school for the people that were in the Sword Art Online incident, it's a school that helps them catch up with the 2 years that they lost inside the game. But her mother doesn't think that it's as good school as she could have because she thinks she's a really smart person who gets into a good college, yada yada yada. So she goes into the game and meets this group, and yeah, goes into Alfheim Online, where there's an update which releases Castle Aincrad. And on floor 22, in Sword Art Online, Asuna and Kirito actually buy a house together. And they're like really excited because they're hoping that their house will be in New Aincrad. And it was. So they go to the house, they buy it, and it's all the feels. And then she meets a character called Zekken, who later turns out to be, her real name is Yuki. And I don't want to spoil her story, so I'm going to end it here. I'm going to end the arc here. I'm not going to spoil anything else, because I really don't want to spoil it for anyone. So yes, in short, I give that arc a 9 as well, because it has the feels. It's really good. Anyway, hope you've enjoyed this review. I've been Silent Assassin. You've been amazing. Thank you for watching. Bye!